Hi, this is Christine with Zeidman Development. Today I'd like to walk you through the process of importing event participants into the event module in Razor's Edge using Importacular. Please note the event module is an optional module within Razor's Edge, and the participant's destination is a paid destination within Importacular. To begin, I'd like to show you the spreadsheet that I'm working with and explain some of the steps that I'd like this import to accomplish. You can see that I have an ID number from the system that this list was pulled from. I have names that are all in one field, but we're going to use Importacular to split that out. I have contact information. And if we continue to scroll to the end of the spreadsheet, we can see that I have their seating party information. I have some participation information indicating whether or not they're individual tickets or couple tickets, if their status is invoiced or to be invoiced or paid, if there is a unit involved, and the number of those units, as well as a date, dietary restrictions, a donation amount, and an award. Some of these have data, some of them do not, but we're going to use this to put the correct data on the correct person in each of these instances. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and open Importacular. I've already linked my file, so I've got 6 records, just like I did in my file, to a template. So let's open the template so you can see what it looks like. Within the template, I have mapped my constituent, and I've used our name parser so that I can separate out that name field. And if you'd like to know more about name parser, we do have information on that in other training documentation. I've also created a constituent code because that's a required field in my database. I have added the address and the email and the phone number just so that I can make sure I have all of my up-to-date information in Razor's Edge, but also so that I can use that information to match these constituents to constituents who already exist within my system. I have also created 2 gift records. One of these is for the amount of their ticket purchase, which I have based off of the number of units. So if they bought an individual ticket, they paid for $75, and if they bought a couple ticket, they paid $150. I've also added a record for that event donation. If you remember on our spreadsheet, several of our constituents did make an additional donation at the event, and I want to track that as well. So I have 2 separate gifts here that I'm going to link to the participation, and I've created those using this gift mapping. If you'd like more information about gifts or other features you can add to gifts, we do have separate documentation on gifts specifically. With all of those details in place, let's go to our Participants tab and take a look. You can see that I've started by creating a registration for registrants using the participant mapping. I've also added a participant attribute, a participant registration using the units. I have linked a gift to the registration fees. I have linked a donation to the participation. I have linked benefits to the participation. I have linked event awards to the participation, and I've also linked a dinner preference to the participation. So let's begin by looking at what a participant mapping is like. If I scroll my list up to the top and I click on a participant mapping, you can see that when I create a new participant mapping, I do have to select the type of either a registrant or a guest. This example is working with a registrant. So let's open that registrant mapping that I already have in place. You can see that we have a wide range of fields. This is because within participants, there are different fields for different event categories. For example, the event category of sporting event allows you to assign gender, age, assigned number, and ability level so that you can track your sporting event participation in a different way than you would track your dinner participations. All of those fields are seen on this screen because you could theoretically map multiple events at the same time in the same template, so you would theoretically need them all in the same build. But for the purpose of what we're doing today, I have chosen to work with just one event, an afternoon tea. I've filled in several fields. I've added amounts. I've added my event because that is required. And I've also, if you come down further, you can see the seating party has been mapped, as well as the fact that all of the people who came to my event were invited. Once you have your participation mapping done, then you can add all of the other subsequent areas. The dietary preference that I have set up here is a participation attribute. If you've worked with Importacular much at all, you will notice that this attribute does look like attributes in other areas of Importacular. Just like in any other area, if you don't fill in the category and the description, you will not have an attribute populated. The participant registration is where you map your units. You can see here that I have used the same field 3 different times for that number of units. That's because my gift amount and my receipt amount were not in my original spreadsheet. So I've used a data transformation in a field setting in order to convert the number of units into the amount that I need. So because 1 ticket is $75 and 2 tickets are $150, I've changed those in Target here using a data transformation. I've done the same thing with the receipt amount, only I've taken into account how much is going to be valid on their tax receipt. The middle option, I'm using the number of units exactly how Razor's Edge would recognize the number of units by assigning that number to the unit that is down below for the purposes of the registration tab, which is the second tab when you're looking at a participation record within Razor's Edge. Once you have that tab set up where you have the linking of the units, if you'll recall, Razor's Edge also has an ability in the bottom right-hand corner to allow you to link it to a gift. So this option here is how we link to that gift. You can see here that again, I've used my number of units as well as that transformation to show those amounts. And I have linked to my gift. When I click on the drop down here, I have 2 options. One is my registration purchase, which is a gift mapping that we already looked at, and the other is an event donation that is a gift mapping that we've already looked at. Because this is linking to my registration fees, I need to select the correct gift, which is for this mapping, the registration purchase. Next, you can see where I have linked the event donation. This is from the participant donations, and when you're in the event participation on the constituents record, this will show in a separate tab for donations connected to the event. Again, I need to select the applied amount, which for this is the donation amount, and I need to link it to the correct gift mapping. Next, you can see that I have mapped benefits. So I can map to this the benefits that are received in connection to participating in this event. So for this event, they've received a dinner. The total benefit value was $35, and the total unit cost was $30. Next, some of my attendees have received awards. We saw that on my spreadsheet. So if we click here, we can actually map to indicate which award they received. We can add comments, I've chosen not to, and we can also indicate who presented the award at the event. And last but not least, we also have an option here for the dinner preference. So here we can indicate comments, what menu item they've selected. So here within this event in Razor's Edge, we had the options of stuffed mushroom cap, blackened mahi-mahi, and trout almondine. So we've chosen the stuffed mushroom cap, and we could also add a quantity if need be. These are all of the different mapping areas available for our participants. So let's save our template and move on to the review screen. Since we've walked through our entire template, let's go ahead and take a look at how this process completes by importing these participants into the Razor's Edge. First, we click Continue. That matches our constituents to records already in Razor's Edge. All of the records in this file already exist in Razor's Edge and were matched. And we do have some tabs at the top here so we can review information and how it looks as it's going into Razor's Edge through Importacular. So you can see our dietary preference code, our registration fees, our awards, all of the different things that are set up and how they have been mapped. Let's go ahead and validate our data. All 6 of our records are set to update, and we have 11 gifts that have been created for batch. Because as you'll recall from our spreadsheet, we have 6 records. All 6 of them have registration payments, but only 5 of them had donations. Since our record's validated, let's go ahead and import, and then we'll take a look once it's in Razor's Edge. Okay, let's go ahead and close out of Importacular altogether and open the batch so that we can see those gifts. So here we can see that we do have 2 transactions for nearly all of our constituents. We have their registrations as well as their donations. If we wanted to, we can open their records and we can see that they've all attended the afternoon tea. We can see that they have their registration fees, but they don't have a gift link yet and they don't have a donation link yet because we haven't committed the batch. We do have award information just like we put in there, and it indicates who presented that award. Let's close this record and import our batch so that everything will be in Razor's Edge. And as always, please follow all of your organization's policies when committing batches. Now that our gifts are within Razor's Edge, let's go ahead and open up that same record for Colton. Here we have his event, and now we can see that his registration is linked to that transaction and his donation is linked as well. Thank you so much. I hope that this has been helpful, and if you have any questions or if you're interested in trying the participation destination, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Bye.